Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maintain Me's hosted YouTube channel. I am Morgan Jenkins. I'm the director at Maintain Me. And today we have a very special guest. So a while back, one of our viewers actually asked us a question in the comments, and we love that. We encourage that. And then we can do videos to help answer those questions for you in the future. So that's what we're doing today. So the question was, if I am an older adult or I have an older adult in my family, my spouse or my parent, and I'm caring for them, is there a way that I could get paid as a caregiver? So that's an excellent question. And today we have Cassie from PASCO, and she is going to talk about that program specifically with PASCO and some of their other related programs for older adults. So any materials that we see on the screen today will be linked up in the bottom in our chat, and any again, any questions, but anything related to PASCO or how to get in touch with Cassie if you have a question, or Maintain Me, that will all be there too. So look for that below in the chat. Without further ado, Cassie from PASCO, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what is PASCO? I see that's an acronym. What does that stand for? And tell us, how do we get paid to be our loved ones' caregivers?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Morgan, for having me. My name is Cassie, and I work for PASCO. PASCO stands for Personal Assistance Services of Colorado. So we are only in Colorado. We serve just the Front Range, actually, from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs. We don't serve the whole state. So we are very local. We're not like a franchise or anything like that. And we are a home health agency that specializes in the Family Caregiver Program, which is a Medicaid-funded program, which is only in the state of Colorado going to be exactly how I'm describing it today, because you may or may not know that Medicaid is different in every state. So the benefits and the programs are actually varied state to state. So each state gets to decide how they want to use their Medicaid dollars. And so everything I'm talking about today is specific to Colorado.
Thank you. That's good. That's good to know.
And then PASCO was founded a little over 30 years ago, and it was out of advocacy that we started because our founder saw the inequalities that people with disabilities of all kinds were facing, and he wanted to create a home health company that specifically worked with individuals who would normally have to live in a skilled nursing setting, but don't want to, but they didn't really have any other options. So he created PASCO to create an option for people to get the care they needed in the community setting that they wish, not in a nursing home. So that's really how it all started, was trying to get people out of nursing homes that really didn't belong there, that were young and vibrant, but disabled. And we now serve all ages. So we serve kids all the way through the end of life.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the common question, like Morgan was saying, is specifically to older adults, how does somebody get paid to care for them through this program? And the first thing I want to mention is that it's called the Family Caregiver Program, but it is not required that the person be a family member. So most of the time it is usually a spouse or an adult child giving the care. That's the most common, but sometimes it's a neighbor or a friend or someone like that that's in a position to do that care. So it doesn't have to be someone that's related to you. Just wanted to be clear on that.
And you also said something really important. Let me jump in real quick. You said someone who's in a position to do that care. Does that mean like trained position to do that care? They can manage the care safely, and I'm sure you're going to talk about that a little bit more, but that just came to mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I really mean is somebody who is willing and able to provide the care. PASCO actually provides training to that person, so the training part doesn't have to be completed prior to starting. That's something that our nurses would do. A lot of times the people that become paid family caregivers have already been providing the care and just were doing it unpaid. And so a lot of what the nurse is doing is just coming in and observing you doing the care to make sure that you're doing it properly and up to the standard. And if they do need to help you with anything, then they can train you on specific things. And that could be things like trach care or G-tube feeding, really advanced stuff that you're allowed to do in this program that normally has to be done by a nurse. So it's above CNA level care, but it can be done through this program because of the nurse oversight that our agency would be providing.
Wow, that's really cool.
Especially with like medication administration, I think that's a really common one. Like with non-medical home care, those caregivers can always remind people to take their meds, but they can't actually administer them. And with this program, that is allowed. So if it's something that the person cannot do on their own, the caregiver can help them in this situation. So I know that's a common problem that people come across if their loved one is unable to give themselves their medication for whatever reason.
Yeah, even IVs and that type of, high level care. Okay.
Very high level.
Really good information.
So that's why that nurse oversight part is so important, because it's actually our nursing license on the line to make sure that this stuff is being done properly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the importance of going with an agency as well,
Yeah.
I think, is to have that 24/7 nursing support.
Yeah, ask a nurse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to know it all. So I do have a step-by-step guide that I created that I can share on screen with you guys right now, and we'll just go through each step. There's only 4 of them. It's not a long thing. It just helps to break it down visually, I think, for people. So let me share that screen. Hold on. I think I closed it. It's my fault. I have to show you my active one here. Okay, sorry about that.
Don't be.
So I just listed out the Family Caregiver Program and how do I get paid to care for a loved one. Step 1 is the person that's requiring the care has to be on Medicaid, which is called Health First Colorado in the state of Colorado. And I have included a link here if you need to apply. So this is the state website link here if you need to apply for Medicaid. So that's step 1, is they have to be on Medicaid, because this entire program is funded through Medicaid and there are no other funding sources available for the Family Caregiver Program. So that's the most important step. They have to be on Medicaid. Step 2 is they have to be on a waiver called the Elderly, Blind, and Disabled Waiver. And I've also a link here to explain what the EBD waiver is and what benefits are included and how to qualify. So that's all in this link here. So that's step 2, is getting on that waiver. The program is available through other waivers, when you'll see that when you look at this website, but the Elderly, Blind, and Disabled waiver is the only one that would apply to older adults. So remember, we do serve all ages. So I'm specifying this to people who are 65 and over. Step 3 is to choose a trusted agency like PASCO to provide in-home support services, or what we call IHSS. So IHSS is where you can choose a family member or trusted friend to deliver the care that's needed to remain living independently in their home or in the community, wherever they choose to be. And then I have linked to our website here more about that specific program, IHSS. I've also included our brochure, which speaks specifically to IHSS, and Morgan has the digital copy of that as well. And then step 4 is the person providing the care would become an employee of PASCO. So we would actually employ the caregiver, and then the person requiring care would become our client. So it's a two-sided thing. So we are employing the caregiver, and then the person needing care becomes our client. And as an employee of PASCO, that's how you're getting paid. So you're going to be assigned a number of hours based on that person's needs. So the state actually determines how many hours you qualify for, and then we implement that, and we have an electronic system that allows you to clock in and out. So we keep track of your hours, and then based on those hours that you clock in and out for, we send you a paycheck, just like any other job. And then in addition, we have full benefits. So if the caregiver is working more than 28 hours a week, you qualify for benefits, which includes health insurance, life insurance, paid time off, respite, all kinds of other things. So it's actually the same exact benefits that I get as a PASCO employee.
Wow.
So it's a huge benefit to the
Yeah.
caregiver, in addition to being a benefit to the client. So we're helping both parties out, because a lot of times people have to quit their jobs to care for a loved one. And this way they can get an income to do that work, which is honestly just life-changing for so many people. So,
Wow.
and then below here, I've included a link to why PASCO, which just talks about our history, and it has some testimonials from our current clients. But mostly it's that we have 30 years of experience. So we've been doing this a very long time. We're the ones who pioneered the program. So we actually advocated to the state to create this program 22 years ago. So we are the reason the program exists. So we feel very passionately about that. And then our biggest goal is to make it easy for you. And Medicaid is not easy. It's very complicated and frustrating. And so that's our biggest goal, is to make Medicaid easy. And we are happy to talk with people no matter what stage they are in this step-by-step process. So even if they haven't even applied for Medicaid yet, but you want to look into this program, our intake team would be happy to talk with you about it and answer questions, and even ask you questions to see if you qualify. So they can give you that kind of like head start to the whole process, so that you're not just like figuring it out by yourself, because that's not what we want. We want to help you. We can help you step by step. Our intake team can even call back and check in on you after a few weeks to see how you're doing with that step. If you need help, if you need some other resource, super valuable service there. So no matter what stage you're at, we can help you. Just give us a call and we can figure out if our program would be appropriate for your situation.
That's so great. What a wealth of information, and the benefits and getting respite. There's no way to even hardly do that if you don't have a program like this to get away. So
Correct.
yeah, that's incredible.
And another little bonus, Morgan, is if the person providing the care lives with the client. So if they live together in the same house, the employee's income is tax exempt. If they live together. So you don't have to live together. That's not required. But if you do, you get a tax exemption, your federal income tax exemption.
Wow, that's
just a little bonus to
yeah.
Living with the person, if that is the situation.
And
the other thing is, it can be more than one caregiver. So it doesn't have to just be one person. You can have multiple people, depending on the need of the person. If they need a lot of round-the-clock care, maybe you have someone who takes care of them during the day, someone at night, someone on the weekends. You could have 3, 4 caregivers if you wanted, if that was something needed in that situation.
Very good. So here's a question for you. How do you physically help a family or an individual fill out the Medicaid application, or they still need to do that on their own or find a resource to help them do that?
We don't help fill out the application, but we can give you resources for that, free and otherwise. There are lots of options for that.
Okay.
The one we work with the most is Benefits in Action, which is a free service that can help you apply for not just Medicaid benefits, but other types of benefits as well.
Okay. And Benefits in Action, we'll just give them a shout out.
Yeah, we love them.
We do love them. They're a local nonprofit and volunteer based. So, you know, we support anybody reaching out to make a difference with their time. So we'll put Benefits in Action, a little link down there in the comments as well. Okay, so I had another question. Is there a minimum number of hours you need to work to be employed as someone's caregiver? So when we're talking about the teams, maybe you're just 5 hours on a team of 5 people and that's all they needed. Is that okay?
Yep, there is no minimum. Yep. The only thing would be for the benefits. To qualify for benefits, you do have to work 28 hours a week.
Okay.
But you can work way less than that and just not receive those benefits. You still get paid. You just don't get the insurance and the time off and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's for full time.
So yeah, there is no minimum.
Okay. And how is the hourly determined? Is that a question we're allowed to ask?
It's determined by the state. It varies. Okay. I can tell you the range is from $16 to $21 an hour. Depends on the level of the care needed and which program you actually qualify for. So there's some other factors, but the state kind of determines that level of care. So we don't get to, the agency does not get to choose that. Just like we don't get to choose how many hours you qualify for. So we have no say in that process. We just follow the Medicaid guidelines. We pride ourselves in being really good stewards of Medicaid money, and we have a good reputation. So we don't like to do any kind of sketchy business that would make them question us.
Yeah, well, and that's really important. And that's a testament to your agency and everything else. Well, that is excellent. I am hopeful that anybody watching will add any questions they might have to further this conversation, and maybe we can have Cassie come back on another time. But I can speak for myself. I learned a lot today, and I thought I had a pretty good understanding of the program. So that's amazing. The benefits piece and the respite and paid time off. I mean, that's really hard to find. Especially if you were doing something, you were already doing this for a loved one, and now you can have this great addition. You're right, it's definitely a win-win. So, well, great. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for watching out there. And like I said, put any questions or comments in the notes. We listen, we read them, and we respond, as evidenced by Cassie being our guest today. So thank you. And for this episode, we are going to sign off, and have a great rest of your day, everyone.